Recording option, I cannot see that. Started. What happened? We'll see. So we can resume. Let it be. So can you see the recording symbol, sir, from my side? No? Yes, sir. So good morning, all of you. We can continue the lesson, The Tiger King by Kalki. Page number 13. We can resume the lesson. You can also see. One day, Maharaja sent for Divan. Sent for the Divan in the sense already told you yesterday. I told you that sent for the Divan in the sense you can take a message. So he called and informed. So one day the Maharaja sent the message to the Divan, and of course Divan Sahib, aren't you aware of that fact that 30 tigers still remain to be shot down by this gun of mine? And he asked brandishing his gun. So brandishing in the few minutes. Right, and he was showing, so showing that means it's like waving the gun. By that he was threatened, so he was threatened and he asked brandishing his gun, shuddering at the sight of the gun. So here shuddering already told you that maybe trembling with fear, so trembling whether he will shoot or not, like. So shuddering at the sight of the gun, the Divan cried out, "Your Majesty, I am not a tiger." So when we said this one, when he just shared this thing, that means, Your Majesty, I'm not a tiger. Of course, we will also laugh, right? So which idiot would call you a tiger? You are a normal person. You are a human being. But I will not call you. I didn't call you like a tiger. I didn't show anything like. So which idiot would call you a tiger? No, and I am not a gun. And he was also saying another. He was threatened by that activity of the gun, and of course that's why he started to babble. What is the meaning when we are threatened, when we are in, when we are panic, when we are in fear, we will also speak something. That means, we will go for, we cannot control ourselves. Likewise, and he also started to babble, and no, and I'm not a gun. You are neither tiger nor gun. Very clearly the king was stating that, Divan Sahib, I call you here for a different purpose. I have decided to get married. So when he told that get married, he thought he was, he was expecting that he wanted to get married with the Divan. The Divan began to babble even more. Your Majesty, I have two wives already. I will not marry you. So if I marry you, don't talk nonsense. Why should I marry you? What I want is a tiger. Very clearly, the king was also stating that what I want is a tiger. Then again, he was in that threat. He was in that fear, and of course, he didn't come to the very something just like come to the conscious. Like we can also take that. He didn't come to the consciousness. That's why he was again babbling like, Your Majesty, please think it over. Your ancestors were married to this bird. So if you wish, if you like, you can marry the gun. But a tiger king is more than enough for the state. It doesn't need a tiger queen as well as. So he was expecting that, he wanted to get married with the tiger. This is what the Divan understood. So he was babbling. The Maharaja gave a loud crack of laughter, and of course he started to laugh by this wonderful comedy. I'm not thinking of marrying either a tiger or a gun, but a girl from ranks of human beings. Very clearly he also mentioned that. But you may draw up statistics. That means, that analysis, you have to go and collect information, statistics of the tiger's population in different native states, nearby or neighbor states. Next, you may investigate, analyze, investigate if there is a girl I can marry in the royal family of a state with a large tiger population. You have to underline that is very important. This is what he was just, giving instruction. And the Divan followed his orders. He found the right girl from a state which possessed a large number of tigers. So, by that order, he started to follow and verify and collected the statistics and, of course, investigated. At last, he found. So he found a right girl from a state which possessed. That means, had a large number of tigers. A large number of tigers. So Maharaja Jilani Jangjang Bahadur killed 5 or 6 each time he visited his father-in-law. What is the meaning? So after getting married, that particular girl, what who found, and the one found the girl. So he found the right girl from a state which possessed a large number of tigers. So Maharaja and approached. He also went and proposed. So then by that he got married with her. Then whenever he visited, so when each time he visited his father-in-law, that means particular state of the particular girl. So when he went, whenever he visited, so each time Jilani Jangjang Bahadur killed 5 or 6 tigers. So the 70, 75, 70, it's like it's 80, 85, likewise, it also increased. You understand, sir? So Maharaja Bahadur killed 5 or 6 tigers each time he visited his father-in-law. In this manner, 99 tiger skins adorned the walls of the reception hall in the Pradibandhapuram palace. So what is the meaning adorn? Underline the word adorn means beautified, beautified or decorated. So in this way, so already 70 tigers he killed in a state. So after getting a selected girl, right, and in her state, whenever he visited, he also completed us. That means aim and of course the target. 99 he reached. So whenever he visited, he killed 5 or 6 tigers each time. In this manner, 99 tigers. So 100th tiger was his target. So for that 99 he completed. Tiger skins adorned, decorated the walls of the reception hall in the Pradipandabhuram palace, his palace. Then what happened in next? We can also see that. What happened next? Page number 13, 14 you can take, and scene 5. The Maharaja's anxiety reached a fever pitch when they remained just one tiger to achieve a tally of 100. Something you can. So when someone is insisting something, too many things we can also remember that when we are given an input, of course we are very strong enough. We are very strong enough. For an example, we have faith on God, right? We are always believing God, but we are doing prayer. You can also remember, you might have come across, whenever we are doing prayer, we ask for something from the Almighty, but we will not believe that, right? We have faith in God, but we are not strong enough in that particular faith. That's why we will also do another things. We will also protect ourselves. We are not submitting everything in front of the Almighty. Likewise, whatever it is, he had faith on us, even his strength and everything. That's why by that only he had completed, his. Of course, he had reached his destination. That means his target. We can also take 99, just only one tiger, but he was always remembering that because he was the input. That means 100th tiger is very important. That will also take revenge. The Maharaja's anxiety, underline the word. What is the meaning anxiety? Worries about future. So worries about future and tomorrow. The Maharaja's anxiety reached a fever, underline the word. Agitation, fever, underline the word. Fever means your agitation. Agitation, agitation, pitch. Something, he reached the level. That means he was even unable to balance himself. He was trembling like. And when they remind just one tiger to achieve a tally of 100, he was not in his conscious life. He was not in his control, of course. That means curiosity, maybe we can take that, or fear, or we can take what will happen next. What will happen next, whether I will kill the tiger or the tiger will kill me. Like, so he thought of everything. Even he dreamt also. So he had this one thought during the day and the same dream at night. So whatever we are thinking, already told you, for an example, whatever we think, that means that will also save in our a subconscious mind. By that it is also coming as dream. So as it is, he was thinking day and night, that particular one tiger, which is the hundredth one. So that's why he had this one thought. Which one? One thought, thinking about the hundredth tiger during the day and the same dream at night. So by this time, the tiger farms had run dry. Even his father-in-law's kingdom also, it became impossible to locate tigers anywhere, everywhere. That only one more was needed. If he could kill just that one single beast, the Maharaja would have no fears left. So he would give up tiger hunting altogether. This is what is, he was in that something he needed. Only one tiger he wanted to kill, but even in his father-in-law's kingdom also, it ran. That means the tiger's farms had run dry even in his father-in-law's kingdom. Means that in father-in-law's kingdom also, that particular state also, that unable to find a tiger. So around he comes 70. Then of course 70 you can also take 29 around. He has completed. He has killed. So he has killed 29 tigers in his father-in-law's kingdom. So he was unable to find. That's why he had anxiety. The Maharaja's anxiety reached a fever pitch. So he was thinking about that. In which way the 100th tiger will come and attack, and whether it will take place, whether it will be proved, like whether it will be completed. Its mission, like the astrology, whatever the late, late in the sense, who died, passed away. Chief astrologer said that will also happen. Like he was thinking. That's why. So he was trembling. Like so, it became impossible to locate tigers anywhere, even in his father's-in-law's kingdom house. Yet only one more was needed. If he could kill just that one single beast, underline the word single beast means the narrator is mentioning the 100th tiger, the Maharaja would have no fears left, in the sense no, only one. If I complete, that's all. I will leave everything. Then I can also go and rule my country in a fantastic manner, right? So he could give up tiger hunting altogether. He was waiting for that. That's why his even anxiety also reached a fever pitch, right, sir? Now you can think that. But he had to be extremely careful with than the last tiger. This is what he was given that input. This is what. That's why he was trembling. Something. When you're walking with something is there. When you are entering into a house, you are given an input before that. There is something, a ghost haunting. Then you will get fear. You will also something struggle. You will also babble. You will also murmur. You will also murmur. You cannot easily go and do whatever you wished, right? When you know something is there, your reaction will be in a different way. We will start to react. Likewise, so he has completed 99 tigers without even. Sometimes the marks also missed, but he was not fear of something, and of course he fought with that and with the bare hands, and of course each time he who was the winner, he became the winner. But he had to be extremely careful with the last tiger. What had the late chief astrologer said? You understand what had the late? You underline the word. What is the meaning? Date late in the sense passed away, because that means Raja Maharaja became something that means aged in the sense. You can just remember that. You can also see the image of the astrologer. He became extremely old, so that in a natural way he also passed away. That's why. But he had to be extremely careful with the last tiger. What had the late chief astrologer said? Even after killing 99 tigers, the Maharaja should beware of the 100th. This is what he mentioned. You can also see that. I can also remember, Your Majesty, you may kill 99 tigers in exactly the same manner, but the astrologer drawled. But what? Speak without fear. But you must be very careful with the 100th tiger. Page number 10. So he was remembering that what the astrologer said. So here, even after killing 99 tigers, the Maharaja should beware of. You know what is the meaning? Beware of. Beware of the 100th. True, that is true enough. That's why that fear also started. The tiger was a savage, a beast after all. You underline the word. What is the meaning? Savage. That means wild beast. So the tiger was a savage beast after all, wild beast after all. Just after all, we are always saying after all. We are saying something after all. We consider it as nothing, just nothing. So it is a savage. It's a wild animal. The king, he was the king. He would do whatever he wished. Of course, even the gun can do. It's a simple. Through a bullet, by a bullet, the king can easily kill. So that's why here he was also fearing. The tiger was a savage beast after all. One had to be wary of it. Do something, underline that. Wary in the sense here we are taking that careful, but one had to be wary of it, in the sense Maharaja should be should beware of the particular beast. After all, that was a savage beast. But anyhow, but where was that 100th tiger to be found? That was the question. He was unable to even control. He started to babble, or he was losing his consciousness, strength, and of course because of the anxiety, because of the fear. It seemed easier to find tiger's milk than a live tiger. This is what his condition. You understand that even more he was getting fear. It seemed easier to find tiger's milk than a live tiger. Live tiger. உயிரோட டைகரை பார்க்கறது அப்படின்றது ஒரு மிகப்பெரிய it is like world wonders, something world wonders like he was receiving. He was facing that problem. Thus the Maharaja was sunk in gloom. You can underline the sentence. That means he just fell. So here the Maharaja was sunk. That means drowned. What is the meaning sunk? Drowned, sink, sunk. So it was that thus the Maharaja was sung in gloom. Underline the word. What is the meaning gloom? That means grief, and of course here we are taking that sad. He was worried a lot, but soon came a happy news which dispelled. Dispelled, underline the word. Dispelled means removed, not dispelled. Removed that gloom. Something dispelled. Happy news which dispelled, removed that gloom. In his own state, sheep began to disappear frequently from a hillside village. You understand that? A message he was received in his own state. Sheep, what is the meaning sheep, and of course began to disappear. So disappear in the sense, we will also think tigers will do some activities, or even lions also, or some fox. We can take some wild beast always doing that, right? So in his own state, that's why here, but soon, thus the Maharaja was sunk in gloom, but soon came the happy news which dispelled, removed the gloom. Dispelled means removed that gloom and worries and anxieties. In his own state, sheep began to disappear frequently from the hillside village. So he was very happy to receive, because he thought of tigers. Tigers would do that, right? So it was first ascertained. Underline the word ascertained means, has ascertained means made sure or find out, or something discovered. It was first discovered that this was not the work of Qadar Mian Sahib or Veera Sami Nayaka. We are sometimes some characters always doing some theft, like stealing, like. So they confirmed, it was first ascertained that this was not the work of Qadar Mian Sahib or Veera Sami Nayaka. We two characters, it's a minor characters. Two characters are minor. That is only for the confirmation. You understand that? Because when he came to get the news, that means, but soon the happy news which had dispelled the gloom in his own township began to disappear frequently from a hillside village, in the sense. So there was another option might have done by Khadar Mian Sahib or Veera Swami Naika. They were, that like thieves, and they were very famous for, both famed for their ability to swallow sheep whole, in the sense, stealing. You underline the word swallow here. You can write stealing sheep from the owners without the knowledge. So the very first thing, it was first ascertained, verified, discovered that this was not the work of Qadar Mian Sahib or Veera Sahib Naikar. They have confirmed, இவங்க ரெண்டு பேரும் இந்த சீஃபெல்லாம் வந்து திருடுறது கிடையாது. So something was there. So surely a tiger was at the work. You understand that? This is what the confirmation. The Maharaja also asked them to confirm whether this activity was done by two of the thieves. But you understand, both famed for their ability to swallow sheep whole, but surely a tiger was work. This is what Maharaja understood, so he was very happy. The villagers ran in to inform the Maharaja. The Maharaja announced a 3-year exemption from all tax for that village and set out on the hunt at once. You understand? Because he was very happy. So he was also giving some exemption. Exemption, what is the meaning exemption? Free from all tax. Because he found that particular state only he was going to complete his mission. The target. He was going to complete his target. So that's why the villagers ran into, after completing, after confirming, this is not done by, or we can, it is not, it was not done by the two of the thieves, Qadar Mian Sahib or Veera Sami Nayakar. The taking thieves are those who are, it's like, so both famed for the particular activity. So when they confirmed, they understood that surely a tiger at work. So the villagers ran into the Maharaja and informed that with happiness. And of course, the Maharaja was very happy, or he became very happy, and he announced the 3-year exemption. You know what is it? A 3-year exemption. It's an adjective. 3-year, not 3 years. A 3-year exemption. 3 வருஷத்துக்கு உங்களுக்கு வந்து exemption from. You know what is the meaning exemption? Underline the word, right? Free from. So exemption from all taxes for that particular village, and set out on the hunt at once, tiger hunt, so that the tiger was not easily found. But anyhow, they understood. But the tiger, when he started his hunting, and he also prepared, and of course, set right and did and prepared their tent also, and he was waiting. It is like, வலி மீது விழி வைத்து காத்திருக்கிறார், the Maharaja. He was eagerly waiting for that, for the tiger, the hunted tiger with his gun. The tiger was not easily found. It seemed as if it had wantonly hid himself or itself, not easily found. Something itself in order to flow to the Maharaja's will. You understand that? Now you can see the tiger was not easily found. It seemed as if it had wantonly, underlined wantonly means deliberately hid. What is the meaning hid? V2 of hide. Hid itself in order to flout. Underline the word. Flout means disobey. Understand that? Deliberately. You know what is the meaning deliberate? Deliberate means with intention. It seemed, here we are taking, of course, applying in a condition that it seemed as if it had wantonly, that means deliberately, wantonly, willful, something in a willful we are also. The evil is like, we are also hiding too many things. Like the tiger itself, hiding itself. It seemed as if it had wantonly, deliberately hid itself in order to disobey the Maharaja's will. Underline the word Maharaja's will means Maharaja's intention. You understand, sir? So Maharaja started to get angry. The Maharaja was equally determined, and he was also determined how the tiger. We are taking like that, ஒருவேளை டைகர் வந்து ஒரு கண்ணில் படக்கூடாதுன்னு ஒரு லட்சியத்தோட இருக்கணும். But here the Maharaja was equally determined in the sense, இவரும் நான், it's like, there is a saying in Tamil, எட்டி பிடிக்கும் தூரத்தில் வெற்றி இல்லை, ஆனால் அதை விட்டுவிடும் எண்ணத்தில் நானும் இல்லை அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. Understand? எட்டி பிடிக்கும் தூரத்தில் வெற்றியும் இல்லை, அதை விட்டுவிடும் எண்ணத்தில் நானும் இல்லை அப்படின்ற மாதிரி Maharaja was equally determined. He refused to leave the forest until the tiger was found. As the days passed, so how many days? He refused to leave the forest until the tiger was found. As the days passed, the Maharaja's fury and obstinacy mounted. Underline the word fury means anchored, and obstinacy also, that means maybe the stubbornness, willness. You underline the word stubbornness. The act of being stubborn, S-T-U-B-B-O-R-N, stubborn, willfulness, fury and obstinacy, both are equal. That means his determination, that means his anchor, agitating activities. Mounted, that means becoming high. Mounted alarmingly mean he was extremely angered. While looking at இன்னைக்கு அவ்வளவுதான் யாரெல்லாம் சிக்கனமோ அவ்வளவுதான் செதஞ்சோம் அப்படின்ற மாதிரி. The Maharaja's fury and obstinacy mounted alarmingly. Many others lost their jobs because of that, because he was unable to found a tiger to complete his accomplishment. Understand that? The target. What was the target? 100th tiger. What was the target? 100th tiger. Are you all understanding, sir? Am I clear? Can you listen to my voice very clearly? Or is there any?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The Maharaja was equally determined. Again, I am just reading that, you can also see that. The tiger was not easily found. It seemed as if it had wantonly hid itself in order to flout, disobey the Maharaja's will. The Maharaja was equally determined. You know what is the meaning? Focused, taken a decision. He refused to leave the forest until the tiger was found. As the days passed, the Maharaja's fury and obstinacy mounted alarmingly. Many others lost their job because of that, because he was unable to found the tiger. Understand, sir? So one day when his rage, underline the word rage, in the sense we are taking intense anger, underline the word great anger, rage was at its height, right? The Maharaja called the Diwan and ordered him to double the land tax forthwith. Here forthwith means, sir, he thought of, he just gave exemption for the particular village because they just had him a wonderful message. They found a tiger. That means that a tiger was at work, because always sheep were disappearing. So that when they informed the king also was very happy. So that only he had given them exemption from all the taxes for 3 years. But he had been waiting for too many days in the forest of that particular state, that particular village, but he was unable to find a tiger, so that he got irritated. You understand? The days passed. As the days passed, the Maharaja's fury and obstinacy mounted alarmingly. Many others lost the job, and of course he also called the Diwan with that intense anger, and of course the Maharaja called the Diwan and ordered him to double that land tax. You understand that? Already he gave them exemption, now increased, double the land tax forthwith means, underline that, forthwith means immediately, at once, right? I will take only 2 to 3 minutes, then I will leave you. Page number 50. Now you can see the people will become discontented. Underline the word. What is the meaning? Discontented means dissatisfied. You write dissatisfied, then our state will fall a prey to the Indian National Congress. Here you can, it is an example. You have to prepare a closed bracket. The Indian National Congress, maybe a party we can take. We can consider that means now we are just submitting our hands in the hands of the Indian National Congress. The people will become discontented. Discontented in the sense because of the king's activities. He got irritated, he got angry, so that he increased, doubled the land taxes, and of course here land tax worthless. So they started to, that means the people will become discontented and are discontented, dissatisfied. Then our state to will, and they were thinking, they were also worrying for. That means now he just increased the land tax. Then what will happen in the future? And they were in anxiety, and they were feeling that then our state too will fall, a prey. Underline the word prey, in the sense a victim, a bait to the Indian National Congress. Just an example. That means anything will happen at any time. Like that means because of when we are unable to provide a tiger, or when he is unable to find out a tiger for his mission completion, even we will also lose our even life. This is what they thought. In that case, you may resign from your post, said the king. And here the king was sharing something with the divan. That means, underline the sentence. In that case, you may resign. You, underline the word. You here, the divan may resign from your post, said the king. The divan went home, convinced that if the Maharaja did not find the tiger zone, the result would be catastrophic. You understand that? He was just, it's like horse activity, something, he got irritated, so that he was warning the Divan, this is your responsibility. You have to show a tiger for my hunting, that means my tally, otherwise you will also lose. You have to resign. You may resign from your post. But he became, worried, and of course he became worried. The Divan became worried, and he went home. But he convinced himself that if the Maharaja did not find the tiger zone, the result will be, or could be, catastrophic. Underline the word. Catastrophic means dreadful. You underline the word and write. Catastrophic means koduram solluvala. Dreadful. 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 He felt life returning to him only when he saw the tiger, which had been brought from the people's park in Madras and kept hidden in his. The ending, that means, the end of the story, conclusion of the story is equal to Mrs. Packletti's tiger. Mrs. Packletti's tiger in English communicative. In 10th standard, once we taught that, that was very nice story. That's a very nice story. Like here also we are having that. He felt life returning, and that means, he had taken a decision. That means, he felt life returning to him only when he saw the tiger. When he saw the tiger, which had been brought from the people's park in Metros and kept hidden in his house. So he had another plan. You understand that when he mentioned that, in that case, you may resign from your post, said the king. The Divan, he was shocked. Then he understood everything. Yes, of course, he convinced himself that if the Maharaja did not find the tiger zone, the result would be catastrophic. So he just had a plan. Then he also went to People's Park in Madras and just brought a tiger that was old and, of course, very weak, and kept it hidden in his house. You understand that? What happened the next day? We will discuss tomorrow.